Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week, and I got 8 new comics. 7 were off the pull list. One I pulled off the shelf, and I pulled it off the shelf to use it as an example to show my students. And anyway, let's start with the top of the printer museum covers I got this week. We got Zodi and the Mod Rob, a Gold Key comic. I think I got this was there a date? 1970. There's a date on it. I just love this cover. I actually wrote a blog about it once. You can look it up at radiantcomics.com. Just put Zodi in the search engine. I think it was Sarge TD, who is a YouTuber who occasionally has sent me packs of comics. This was one that he sent me. And I love that cover, I gotta say. And this over here, we got Mars, number 10, right? That's number 10? Number 10. It's Wheatley and Hempel. I can't tell which way their signature's going, 84. But this was a good series. I don't remember this cover. You know, it's been sitting on my shelf. I read the whole series, I don't know, it must be a decade ago now, over again. I'll have to read it another time. But I like this cover. Just kind of cool, the repeating image falling. Oh, it looks like there's one person going the other way. So I like that. Good stuff. Now I'll put those away and pick out 2 new ones. Let's see, what else do I got here? We have got, nice cover on that. Space Usagi, Death and Honor, 2 of 3. This is one of the reprints from the late 80s, early 90s, except they've colorized it. So Usagi looks different because it stands Kaiju. Whoa! That one's not in mint condition anymore. There we go. I noticed a lot of, I'll show you the one, oversaturated books this week at the shop. You can see it on this back cover, the waves. That's when then their black ink isn't set up right in Photoshop, and there's too much ink for this thin paper. But I always love Space Usagi. Always love Usagi. Love Stan Sakai's stuff, so we got that one. Oh, and then here is a super 100-page super spectacular. Savage Dragon Gets Married. Triple size 30th anniversary issue. $10 on this one too, so it's big. And there's the back cover. And usually when he does his anniversary issues, he does a longer story in front, and then you get a whole bunch of other stories from people. North Force in Hearts of Stone. See, there's an index here. No, I don't think they're not in the front. Oh, and we get some faux old paper story in the back there too. Megaton. So it's jammed with. What is this one? Let's see. These ones are made to look old. I think these are all Megaton stories back here. I always like these anniversary issues. They're fun. Let's see, what else do we have here? What's the Furthest Place from Here? Boss and Rosenberg, issue 17. And that was Eric Larson, in case I didn't say his name. I'm just so used to, this is issue 267. I assume everybody knows Eric Larson does the Savage Dragon, but you might not. What's the Furthest Place from Here? Issue number 17, Boss and Rosenberg. This has been pretty good so far. I mean, I've enjoyed the series. Then it kind of went off the rails for me. Then it came back on the rails. But it's just this weird future where there are no adults around the kids. And we finally got an explanation for that. I think it was last issue or the issue before it came out. I won't give away the explanation in case you want to read all 15 issues and find out for yourself. But we finally got an explanation for why there are no adults where these kids are. So they're sort of off on their own. They all kind of lived in the city in little enclaves, and now this one group became homeless. They were the record store gang, and the record store burned down, so they went out looking for what's out there and where they can live, and haven't found it yet. Then we've got, what is this? Ben Stenbeck with Dave Stewart doing Our Bones Dust. Only 3 issues on this one it's going to be. I remember liking the first issue. I don't remember the particulars of it. Except this guy and some... Oh, that's right. There's a... Now it's coming back to me. Post-apocalyptic. This guy's on his own, but there are a couple of clans of people around who were fighting with each other. And then there's these aliens who came down, too, who are like alien anthropologists studying Earth and its post-apocalyptic nature. Then this giant thing came, too. So there's like post-apocalyptic humans... Mad Max sort of scenario, and it's this one kid who's, I guess, he's our commandee of this story, the last boy on Earth, even though there's other boys there, and aliens somehow. How they're going to wrap this up in 3 issues, we'll have to see, but the artwork is nice. I really enjoy the artwork on it, the desert colors there. So, issue 2 of 3. And this one has been good, too. I don't know how many issues this is going to go. This is the Deviant number 3. It's fading away up there into the smoke. And this is a Christmas noir story. Who's doing the Deviant? James Tynion IV is the writer. Art by Joshua Hickson. Lettering by Hassan Atsmain El-How. I enjoyed the first 2 issues of this. Like I said, it's a noir story. There was a serial killer who was arrested and has been in jail for 40 years, but now there's a copycat out there, or maybe the original guy didn't do it. We don't know. And there's our lead character is a writer, a comic book writer, who's trying to write a comic book about the case, except it's personal to him too. And but now we think the copycat is mixing up the comic book writer in the case too. So he planted some stuff that pointed towards the comic book writer. So we'll see where that one's going. I don't know how many issues it's going to run. I mean, a Christmas noir story can't be an ongoing. It's got to be like a 6 or something issues. Then we've got Faceless in the Family, Matt Lisnowski. Is this only 3 issues? This is a mini also. I can't remember if it's 3, 4, 5 issues. Doesn't say inside. But he's got this very sort of softly detailed. And I just remember the concept of this is like a world that's a giant hand. So it's like each of the fingers has a city on it. And like the wilds is the palm of the hand, but in order to get up to the cities, they have to let you in. So this is the story of these 3 people who are trying to get into the city, and they snuck in, but one of them was arrested, and all sorts of things are happening. So it's this crazy story, and I think this was. I know it was because Sleepy Reader said he got the Kickstarter of this. So originally this was kickstarted. And now it's being published by Oni, and they're doing a better job. The printing is better on the new one than the Kickstarter. He had to apologize for the printing on the Kickstarter I gave, or he kind of was doing that in issue 1. So then what do we've got? We've got Creepshow, Volume 2, Issue 5. I really do enjoy the covers to these a lot. The stories are there's 2 stories an issue, horror stories, hit or miss. Most of them are pretty good. Burning Ambition, the writer is Saladin Ahmad. The artist is Artyom Toplin, Pat Brousseau, letterer. And Pat Brousseau letters both of these. I think he's lettered this whole book. Keep It Fed by David D.B. Andre and Tim Daniel are the writers, and Matthew Roberts is the artist. Like I said, I've enjoyed all of these. Like I said, some stories are better than others. That's what it is when you buy an anthology. But it's usually pretty good art. And and I remember I bought Volume 1, and I was like, should I get Volume 2? But then I thumbed through the covers of Volume 1 and really enjoyed the covers. I got all the Guillaume March covers. I think he's doing cover 1s here for all of them. So all his covers have been nice. Now let me show you the one I bought just to use as an example of oversaturation. It's New Burn, number 5. Look at that. That's what's known as oversaturation, when there's too much ink for the paper. The paper is so thin and the black ink is so rich. Rich black is when you take 100% black and add color behind it. So you're supposed to not go... You add up all the numbers. C, M, Y, K are your 4 printing plates. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And if you add, each one can be anywhere from 0 to 100%. All of them together is the richest black you can get at 400%, but there's not a lot of paper that can take 400%. A normal comic book, you don't want those numbers to go above 240 added together. That's why for rich black, the printer will always tell you to use 100K, 60% cyan, 40% magenta, 40% yellow. That'll give you a rich black. But Photoshop's default black is 300%. It's got a whole bunch of different numbers. And that messes up comics because people don't know. The colorists don't know. And this is what happens. I don't know what black he used for this, was used on this cover, but is not supposed to be this wavy. It's just nuts. The Roy, who owns the local comic shop, actually called these in damaged. Because he's like, what? He couldn't believe what it looked like. I mean, look at those waves in that. He thought they were damaged somehow, but that's just bad comic book production. All right, let me show you something from me. Dreams of Things 221 we got. With this fella here with his eye on his hat and horns and patchwork face. He's like a ragman. Wasn't that DC hero Ragman? He's got a Ragman face. Lots of texture in this one. A little strange though. There's all sorts of sort of spiky things pointing at him, but there's no real background space in this one. See a little hint of, I don't know what that polka dot. Well, this one's pretty weird now that I look at it. With his patchwork face and texture and his clothes and face and background, lots of texture in this one. I do like the way it came out though. So there you go, 221 for you. Some comic books, and you guys have a good week out there.